Hey everybody, it's Jason Camps here again from C Squared Racing, and today we're going to talk about game controllers, specifically controllers for racing simulators. Now, you guys have seen my controls. We did a video on it earlier about how my setup was and my rig and the pedals and wheels that I went with, and you guys have seen us talk about different options that you have. And I've mentioned that you don't always have to get some big, expensive, complicated option, that there's cheaper solutions out there if you just don't have the budget for some of the more sophisticated products available on the market. And for a while, I used, this was not maybe the cheapest option available, but there are cheaper versions of this. And that was a motion control wheel. Now, this is a kind of on the high end of motion control wheels. This is the Sim Raceway wheel, and it's over time the handles have gotten very worn off, and some of this material, the surfacing material here, has kind of gotten rubbed off. But this was a good controller. But the way this works is it has accelerometers in it. It's not mounted to anything. I think you can mount it, but it doesn't have to be. You just plug it in with this USB cable and you just turn it, and the accelerometers, give the steering inputs to the software. So I would just hold this up in the air and drive with this, and your arms would get very tired, and you had no force feedback because there's no motors connected to it. And it wasn't great. It was okay when you had nothing else, but once you start using force feedback, trying to go to something like this that's not even anchored down to a pedestal becomes really, really difficult to use. So if you're looking for some for a way to make it more challenging for yourself, you could use this. But you may be saying, that's great and all, but I can't even afford that. Or maybe you just want a really a more intense challenge. Maybe this is too easy. Maybe you don't want to use a wheel at all, and you might go with something maybe a little less sophisticated. Well, there are game controllers too. We also mentioned you can use game pads, but if you don't want to use a wheel and you don't want to use a game pad, you can just use one of these. A mouse and keyboard will work. In fact, if you have one of these kinds of mice with the extra buttons on them, the gaming mice, you don't even need your keyboard. You can map gear shifts and accelerator and brake and all that good stuff just to your mouse. And let me tell you, I have tried to drive in iRacing with a keyboard and mouse, and it didn't go well. It wasn't. It was pretty darn difficult. But you could do it. You just move left and right to steer, and it'll work. But it's very difficult. But is it difficult enough? Maybe for some of you, this is still not enough of a challenge. So, if motion wheels, game pads, and keyboard and mice just seem like they're too easy, and you want something that gives you more of a challenge, that makes it more difficult, hold on. I'm going to get the solution for you right now. And I'm going to need to turn the lights off for this part. Alright folks, here it is. This is my cell phone. You can tell because that's the car I drive in iRacing. It's very pretty. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Alright, but I'm going to show you how to drive in a racing simulator with this, with your phone. Now, I don't mean that I'm going to load up a driving simulator app. In fact, we're going to use rFactor2 on this phone. This is a Galaxy Note. Not that I don't think that matters, but we're going to do it with this Steam Link app. This is an app that you can get if you have a Steam account, and if you're running games like rFactor2 or iRacing, maybe doing it through Steam. And essentially what this app does is it takes what's on the computer. It still does all of the processing on the computer, but it sends the video to your phone, and it gives you some on-screen controls so that you can actually control the game with your phone, using your phone like a gamepad. Except it's all touchscreen controls. You don't have any physical buttons, obviously. Now, I suppose it's possible that you could get one of those attachments that you could actually put some physical buttons on that maybe would make it easier. I certainly have used gamepads to control driving games before, and it is doable. It takes a little practice, but it is doable. But I have never had a lot of luck playing any games with on screen soft key touchscreen buttons, just because you can't feel it. You always have to look to see where you're pressing, and sometimes if your finger is just a little bit off, it's sometimes not pressing the button that you think it's pressing, or it's pressing the wrong button. So it's really really difficult. So I really never use this. Um, you have to be with your computer in order to have it connect. So why wouldn't you just use your computer? I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody can comment below the video as to when this really becomes useful. I think it's an interesting novelty, but I don't know when this would actually be something that I would want to use. But we'll go ahead and click it. And right now it is loading up Steam Link. And this is the first screen you get that has the information about what it's going to connect to. And down below are some of the games that I've already loaded. I did get iRacing to load, but I would have had to have done a lot of stuff with the controls in order to make it work, and remapped a lot of the buttons that I already have mapped to my keyboard and steering wheel on different devices. And since I use iRacing every day, I really didn't want to mess with that. So I don't really play rFactor2 that often. So I thought, yeah, I don't really care if I mess that up a little bit. So we're going to try rFactor2. Seemed to work a little bit better. I had a little less trouble getting it to run than iRacing. It's really meant more for games that are like platformers and things like that. As you can see, I tried playing DuckTales. DuckTales didn't work so bad with this. It's playable. But we're gonna try driving. So as you can see, it is connecting. There's a little bit of lag, and sometimes you will get the signal cutting out a little bit. So as I'm playing, sometimes you'll see the screen will get kind of pixelated, or there may be interruptions where it'll freeze for just a split second, which is awesome because if it wasn't for that, it would be so easy. But here we are. We're in the rFactor interface. So if you could see my computer screen right now, you'd see the exact same thing. In fact, I'll move my computer mouse, and you can see that the mouse on the phone screen moves. So we're essentially controlling my desktop computer through my phone interface right now. And we're going to try and load up a race. We're going to go ahead, and I don't want to make it too difficult on myself. I tried a road course, and it didn't go so well. So we're going to try and lower the difficulty a little bit by going with an oval. I'm going to try and see if I can do the DW12 around Indianapolis. So let's go ahead and load that up. And as you can see, I've got different buttons on the screen. I've got X, Y, A, B on the right, and a D-pad on the left. You can go into the settings and pick layout controls and modify that. You can put analog sticks in. You might think that an analog stick would be better for driving. I've tried it for both steering and throttle, and it actually made it more difficult. I just didn't have the dexterity to control it. I just found myself constantly losing control, and not that that won't happen with the D-pad, but it was actually more difficult with the analog because I couldn't control it quite well. At least with the D-pad, I know what's happening. I know if I hit the button, it's going to go 100% in one direction. With the analog stick, it was really hard to tell if it was too much or too little. So we're here in the garage at Indy, and I'm going to move my mouse down here to drive. Just to explain exactly how I have the controls set, I've got left and right on the D-pad for steering, and you'll see when I press this, part of the problem is, a press is essentially all the way. So if you were to just press this and hold it, it would be full, left lock, full steering position. you can, tap it lightly and it turns less. And I suppose if you could actually sort of get good at tapping repeatedly, you could sort of have a smooth input. But realistically, it's not an ideal way to steer, and you're really upsetting the car when you're moving it back and forth like that. I've got the up and down for shifting, but I've got it set to automatic transmission because I, it's hard enough as it is, and I'm not a masochist. So I'm not going to worry about shifting. I'm just going to worry about trying to keep it in the track. I've got Y to take the speed limiter on and off. A is to accelerate, and B is to brake. And again, with the accelerator and brake, when you push the button, it immediately applies 100% acceleration or 100% brake. So you're stomping on the gas and then you're locking up the brakes every time you push the button. So if you really have to use a lot of gas and brake and steering inputs, it's going to be very erratic and really upset the car a lot. So you're going to see me sort of pulsing the throttle sometimes if I don't want to go full throttle. But same thing with the steering. I'm going to be kind of hitting it back and forth and try and stay in a straight line. It's just really difficult to control. But we'll try and roll it out here and see. Whoa! And the video cut out there, which is another problem when there's an interruption in the signal. The video cuts out on my end, and then sometimes you have that same problem with the controls where I will make a control input and it doesn't necessarily get communicated back to the simulator. So we'll go straight up onto the racing surface here, and just kind of start out slow, just giving it a little bit of throttle and getting used to the inputs. Oh, I got the speed limiter still on. There we go. I'm going to go a little faster than that. And it wants to pull very much to the left. And I don't know if that's a calibration issue. I don't think it's because of the banking, because it kind of wants to do it on when it's on flat ground as well, like on pit road. But yes, it's constantly trying to pull over, which is so much more difficult because now I have to make steering inputs even going down the straightaways, which, again, upsets the car. You'd like to at least get a brake on the straightaways. Going into the corner. It is so hard to hold any kind of a precise line here. We are full throttle now. Gonna go into turn one. Oh, it is so hard to hold a line. Oh, I had to let up on the gas there. Oh, and now we're spinning. And we're flipping. Whoa. Well, hello. Wow. I'm glad I have damage turned off. Otherwise, I'd be dead. That was something. That was like a pre-damage model update iRacing wreck right there. And we're spinning again. See, when you get into the grass, as soon as you hit the gas, it just spins the tires. I will try and tap it gently to see if I can get to some pavement here. Once you get on the pavement, the tires get a little bit more grip, and they're a little less likely to spin. But you really have to stay off the grass. A little left-hand steering, trying to keep it straight down the straightaway, and then right hand, and then a little bit of left hand just to keep it going around the corner. But it is really difficult not to overcorrect like that. Oh man, it's a good thing I got damage turned off. I'm not even looking at lap times because at this point it would be kind of silly. Trying to stay off the grass there. Oh, a little too much. And we're spinning. This, wow. Let's get back to some pavement. This is so incredibly difficult. I can't describe, I mean, how hard it is to make precise inputs, especially when the signal cuts in and out like that. Sometimes I will admit I do have to look up at my monitor because the signal is nice and clean. So if it starts, yeah, like that, like if it starts kind of cutting out, sometimes I have to actually look up at my monitor, which is showing the same thing, to at least just see where I am. Oh man, it's all I can't. I just cannot even hold it in a straight line. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and now I'm in the grass, so that's a spin. See if we can get it going again. This is so difficult. It's really hard to describe. Obviously, this is not what Steam Link was meant for. It's really only meant to work with some games. You can sort of get it to work with all games, but clearly, when you load up Steam Link, it doesn't give you your full list of games that you have in your Steam library. And I think that's because there's certain games that are really meant to be controlled like this with sort of a, oh man. Oh, and we're flipping again. And we're rolling again. Wow. Uh yeah, iRacing and rFactor2 are not two of the games that are listed. But I was just kind of curious, would this even work? Could you do this if you were of a mind to do so? And we're showing that it is possible through my phone, using my phone as a controller and display. I can actually play rFactor 2 as well as a plethora of other games. But man, I would never do this, uh, except for this video. This is a curiosity at best, and it is just a nightmare to try and control this. It would be a lot easier. I wish I could try this if the car didn't constantly pull to the left. And I'm flipping again. Holy cow. It's just insanely difficult um, to have any kind of finesse or precision when everything is 100% or zero. It's I mean, you have that problem a little bit with any game controller, but then when you throw in the additional difficulty of the fact that I can't do this by feel, I have to constantly keep looking at my hands to see, am I on the button or not? And if I'm not centered, like if I catch the edge of one of these buttons, it doesn't register. And then everything, once it starts to lose grip, because when you press on something, it's 100% input. Uh, it, you know, the grip levels in the car can't handle you jerking the controls around that much. And of course, like going 100% throttle on grass or trying to correct a slight step out with 100% full opposite lock. Um, it's just not going to work. But yeah, the biggest thing is just not being able to feel where the buttons are. Makes it really difficult to, normally if I had like an Xbox controller or the Steam controller, I could feel where the buttons are and I could sort of roll you know, my fingers, across the D-pad to try and have a little bit of precision. Or even with an analog stick, you could sort of feel where you are. Um, See right there, I thought I was hitting steering left, and was too far to the left, and I was off the button, and so the car just went straight into the wall. And just because I wasn't exactly sure where my finger was, it's just impossible. It's just this is a horrible way to try and play a game like this. And I'm not good with this kind of thing anyway. I mean, I've tried to play platformers with this kind of control, and I'm not very good. And it's the same thing. I can't tell where my fingers are, and I can't play by feel, and it's just not good. I think I tried playing like Mega Man like this one time, and it's not really an effective way, at least for me. Some people may be good at this. There's probably people out there that do this a lot, play a lot of mobile games, and maybe they're pretty good with it. They've just got the feel. I suppose anything is possible with enough practice. But for me personally, this is exceedingly difficult, and I don't know why you would do this. I don't know why if I wanted to play a game, I wouldn't just play it on the computer with the proper controls. Um, I understand the reasons for an app that allows you to connect to your computer remotely, especially if you're, say on travel and you need to access email on your computer or something like that. That makes sense. But playing games like this, and I'm not sure the Steam Link works if you're not on the same Wi-Fi network. I could be wrong on that. I haven't tried it, but if that's the case, then yeah, I mean, I don't get the point. I'm not really sure why you would do it this way. It's a pretty terrible way to play this game. And normally I would leave it at that because I don't really think anything more needs to be said. But when I told somebody that I was thinking about trying this, they said, "Well, make sure you try it against some AI opponents. Do a full race." And my first reaction was, "Are you nuts? I can barely drive in a straight line." Um, I knew this would be very, very difficult, and there's just no way I want to do that in traffic. I'll just be bouncing off cars. I'll be causing wrecks. It'll be a disaster. Um, so you know what? Yeah, we're gonna do it anyway because what the heck? It's YouTube, and it might be entertaining. So let's load that up. All right. So I'm already getting hit from behind. So I loaded up a race with 20 opponents, and apparently you have to specifically tell it that you only want Indy cars because it loaded in everything. And like I said, I don't play rFactor2 a lot. I assumed when I was in an IndyCar and I loaded up a race that it would load up IndyCar opponents, but nope, it's loaded up a smorgasbord of both modern and I'm getting spun out by them. Great, because this isn't difficult enough without stupid AI. Um, yeah, there's like vintage and modern cars. There's open wheel, sports cars, everything on the track right now. Um, so I am just trying to. Oh, come on! I'm just trying to do a pace lap. Dan Peel apparently is waiting for me to catch up to him, and I'm struggling to even do that basic thing. And it is still pulling to the left, so I constantly have to keep correcting to the right, which means that I'm basically just bouncing off the wall all the time and constantly upsetting the balance of the car. And if I don't hit the D-pad just right, it doesn't register the click. So sometimes I'm trying to turn and it's not turning, and then I overcorrect and turn too far. It is taking all of my concentration just to stay behind this Renault. But it's almost impossible to hold a formation lap, a position in line here. It just wants to go all over the place. And I'm anticipating a large accident when I have to hold this throttle down near other cars. So it has put us in 17th place. I believe we are coming to the green. Just reminder that I am trying to steer an Indy car with a cell phone. Don't spin, don't spin. The minute it touches the grass, it just wants to turn because when you hit the throttle, it's 100%. It's like standing on it. And of course, if you're in grass, it's going to spin out every time. So it makes it really difficult when you go off track to get back on track. All right, here we go. Green flag. Gonna try and go 3 wide. This is stupid. This is stupid. I think I've done it though. Oh, way too fast for these cars. Oh. Yes, my corner entry speed is. Oh, they're. Oh. This is not good. Oh, I didn't even. This isn't even me. I knew I'd cause a wreck, but they are wrecking without me. Oh wow, that's not good. I don't think all of these cars should be on the track at the same time. That was they didn't need my help. Look at this vintage guy over here. I do love that you have all of these kinds of cars that you can run in this simulator. It's pretty cool when you can drive it properly and not be, you know, on a cell phone. I find that if I do get on the grass, it's best to just not touch anything until you land on asphalt again because the minute you try and steer or brake, it's just going to spin you out. All right, so we're in 18th. We're not in last place. That's something. All things considered, trying to catch up. There we go. And see, the weird thing is, what makes this difficult is, the brake for brakes are this B button, but I can't feel it. So I have to actually look to see where it is. But, normally when you would play a game with a gamepad, you would you'd sort of feel where the buttons were. And with touch controls, you really can't. You can't. It just feels like screen. Um, so it's very difficult to actually make sure that you're hitting the button properly. And then if you don't hit it just right, it doesn't it doesn't register the click. And then you also have the issue of, I'm playing this remotely, so if the computer has a little hiccup in the connection, the button press may not register in the data. Oh, I couldn't get it stopped in time. Oh, now I'm in the grass. Oh, that's where I don't want to be. That's where I don't want to be. Oh, and now it's lagging and having connection problems. Oh, it's freezing. That's not helping. Come on, stop spinning. Stop spinning. Oh, come on. Come on. There you go. There you go. Find that little bit of asphalt there. Don't keep spinning. Ah. All right, I'm just going to back out. Sometimes it's just easier to back onto the track. So, yeah, it's like normally I would have been able to stop in time for that car, but I can't tell where the brake button is. I know it's generally over here somewhere, but I can't feel it. And so it's very difficult to find sometimes. Am I being lapped already? Oh my goodness. And I'm faster than this guy too. If I could just go in a straight line. Come on, come on, come on. No, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, 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 nope. Come on. Straight. Back on the track. Get back up there. No, that wasn't me being lapped. It's blue flagging me for position passes. That's not right. You don't blue flag for position battles. I shouldn't be getting blue flagged until the leader gets to me. Of course, that has now happened. All right. Back on the straightaway. 3 laps down. And, of course, I've been lapped a couple times, so apparently that is the end of the race. That's the checkered flag. I'm going to finish 2 laps down in a 5-lap race. I want to get around these guys just to prove I can. Look at that. See, I could have beat those guys. I could have won this race. Oh, hit the wall again. Wow, this is difficult. Nope, nope. Come on, come on. Nope, nope. Ugh. This is impossible. No one should ever, ever drive a racing game like this. Gamepads are difficult enough. Did I just get hit? I don't even know what's going on anymore because the signal keeps cutting out, and I can't even tell what's going on. I'm actually looking at my desktop. What am I stuck? I'm stuck. Wow. Apparently I'm stuck. I don't know what happened here. I can't move. Well, you know what? The race is over anyway, so it doesn't matter. Um, but this is terrible. This is not how you want to play a racing game. It's impossible to control the inputs. You can't feel what's going on. Everything is 100% on or 100% off. You're either flat out on the throttle or there's no throttle. You're either full lock in the steering or dead center. And the fact that it's got a calibration issue, which means it pulls pretty severely to the left, going in a straight line, which means you're constantly having to make corrections, which means you're constantly overcorrecting and upsetting the car. It's just impossible. The fact that I actually did 3 laps took quite a bit of effort. This is a horrible way to play a game, but it's possible. I wanted to see if it would work. I don't intend to make a habit out of doing this. I probably will never do it again. Um, but it's possible. If somebody out there could do this, I imagine there's people out there that play a lot of mobile games that maybe have gotten used to the on-screen controls, and maybe they can hop into something like this and be okay. By all means, tweet me a video at Jason Camps on Twitter and show it to me, and I'll retweet it to everybody, and I will proclaim you the better sim racer, at least on cell phones. You will definitely have my respect. But I can't do this, and I don't want to do this. It is awful. It is aggravating and annoying and frustrating and all of those ing words that are bad. And I don't want to do this anymore. I want to put this down and walk away and never try and play rFactor2 on a cell phone ever again. But if any of you out there want to try it, the app is Steam Link. You probably find better uses for it than this. So maybe you want to check it out for some other stuff. I don't recommend this. This was kind of dumb, and it's not really fun. It's just aggravating. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to leave the game here, and I'm going to leave this video here, and I will see all of you on the next lap, and that won't be occurring on this cell phone. Bye, everyone.